sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
I'm ready when you are. Hello, and welcome to another edition with the At Home with Christ Ministries and the Well-Worded Christian Podcast. Today in our discussion, we are going to continue our discussion from the book of Esther. And our topic today, we're going to be talking about using something called prudence and discernment when you are faced with decisions. Now, first of all, the word prudence means being mindful of the consequences of your actions. So when you are out there and you have to think about your actions, like what will happen if I do this? What will happen if I do that? Everything has consequences and actions. So when we think about, once again, our injustices and our limitations, we need to use these two things. We need to use prudence and we need to use discernment. Because when you use discernment, you are careful of what you say and do. Now, we have read that it says, do not act on what you want without discernment. That means do not make a decision on what you think you should be making that decision on without exercising discernment. Just like Esther, she had to use discernment when she prepared a meal for the king and Hannah in Esther 5:5. Now, Proverbs 9:10 tells us that the Lord is preparing wisdom for us, that the Lord has wisdom. And it also lets us know that Jesus teaches us that justice comes through prayer from day and night, meaning that if we want justice, that we have to pray day and night for it. So let's get on our hands and knees, people, and let's pray for justice. Let's not try to take justice into our own hands, and let's use our discernment. I know that there's a lot of injustice out there in the world. Your boyfriend left you, your mom did this or that happened. But we have to learn to use our discernment, because everything has a consequence. Everything has consequences. Everything is tied to your actions, and your actions are tied to your emotions. Now listen to this. God makes everything wrong right. Do you know what that means? God is the only one that can right the wrong. You can't right the wrong. I can't right the wrong. God can make everything wrong right. And let's also pay attention to this next word. The next word is intersection, which in upcoming chapters and discussions, we're going to be talking about intersection. But an intersection positions us so we can hear God and obey Him. So you know that when you have to make a decision and you're deciding of what you should do, you should pay attention to the intersection prayer that it positions you so you can hear what God is telling you to do, and you won't make the wrong decisions. Now, God says that blessings return back to those who are intercessors. So briefly, we know that when we are praying for other people and other situations, those blessings will return back to us. Now, Matthew 16:19 says, whatever we bind up will be bound up. The Lord will bind up those demons and strongholds. So you know that when you are praying, ask God to bind them up. Ask God to bind up those strongholds, especially the ones that have to deal with control. You can't control your situation. Only God can control the situation. Now, God has not given us authority over everything except for the things that's in our territory. And listen to what I'm saying. God has not given you control over everything. Just what is in your territory. So you and I don't have authority over everything and over people. We only have territory and permission over the things that are in our own territory. And these things that are in our own territory, we have to use discernment. When we are faced with certain obstacles and decisions we have to make. And we want you to learn that because you don't have power to go out and try to control somebody else's life. You don't have authority to go out and try to take care of somebody else's stuff. You have to get permission from God and ask him to give you the authority and the ability to handle that. You have to use discernment. And with that, we'll talk to you again on another edition next week. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.